Hello, my beloved students. In our last few lectures, we are basically discussing P block elements in class 12. Basically, in class 12, we have the P block elements from group 15, group 16, group 17, group 18. So, already group 15, 16, and 17 already been discussed in a fruitful manner, in a suggestive manner, and I told you in several times that this be the optimum information which are given to you for the inorganic chemistry. So let us discuss group 18 P block elements, the last group for P block elements. We know that in group 18 all the elements are known as noble gases or inert gases. Why? Because their outermost electronic shell are completely filled. Except helium, all the inert gases having octet configuration, and they have fulfill octet configuration. That's why most of the inert gases are non-reactive. However, we have some compound of inert gases such as xenon, and obviously it is quite understood that if inert gases produce some compound, definitely other element must be very reactive, and all we know that the most reactive element in the periodic table is fluorine. After fluorine it is oxygen. So that's why most of the xenon compound are related with either fluorine or oxygen. It is quite logical. So basically what I want to say that if we want to have some product by the reaction between inert gas and other element, so definitely the other element either fluorine or oxygen. It will be quite understood. So let us discuss group 18. Group 18 elements are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. All these are noble gases or inert gases. Except helium, all the inert gases having configuration NH2 NP6. So regarding physical property of inert gases of group 18, definitely you have to consider NCERT table number 7.12 page number 208 for the physical properties of inert gases. Physical properties mean, as I told you earlier, that physical property means atomic number, atomic mass, electron gain, enthalpy, density, melting point, boiling point, ionization enthalpy. All these are the physical parameters in every P block elements. So that's why, as I told earlier, that you have to follow the table which are given to you in every lecture, and in the recent past there are several questions arises from those tables. So that's why those tables are very, very important. So you have to consider those tables. In that case, in case of inert gases, it means for group 18 elements you have to consider table number 7.12 NCERT page number 208. Okay. Now let us see the general electronic configuration. The general electronic configuration of inert gases NH2 NP6. Okay. Obviously having octet except helium, the inert gas electronic configuration is NH2 NP6. Now what are the chemical properties? Let us see some chemical properties. Since I told you that the most of the inert gases are inactive, that's why they are known as inert gases. So they are generally not formed any compounds. That's why chemical properties is quite unusual in case of inert gases. But as I told earlier that xenon forms some typical compound with the most oxidizing element in the periodic table, that is fluorine. So we have some compounds between xenon and fluorine and obviously oxygen. So let us discuss the chemical properties. Obviously they have high ionization enthalpy. Why high ionization enthalpy? Because they have octet electronic configuration. It means outermost shell is fulfilled. So that's why it is very difficult to remove an electron from that outermost shell. So since the electron removal process is very difficult, So that's why ionization enthalpy obviously high, and more positive electron gain enthalpy. Obviously electron gain enthalpy also positive. Okay. Now the second one, as I told earlier, that xenon form some compound with fluorine. That's why xenon fluorine compounds, xenon oxyfluoride compounds, and only krypton difluoride are known. These are the compounds of inert gases formed with fluorine, to some extent oxygen. Most of the compound are from xenon, and a rare example of krypton, that is krypton difluoride. So let us see some formation of those compounds and their conditions and related reactions. Obviously, xenon fluorine compounds. Xenon in an excess to react with fluorine at 673 Kelvin at 1 bar pressure to produce xenon difluoride, which is solid. Obviously, these two are gases and this is solid. The next one, when xenon react with fluorine as 1:5 ratio mixture at a temperature of 873 Kelvin and 7 bar pressure, in that case my product is xenon tetrafluoride, which is also solid. Okay, these are the important reaction of xenon, and generally these are the reaction which are very familiar in the type of exam, any types of examination, whether your board examination or your NEET and JEE examinations. Okay, so now number 3, xenon react with fluorine at a ratio of 1:20 at 573 Kelvin and 70 bar pressure. In that case the product is xenon hexafluoride, which is also solid. And obviously xenon hexafluoride is also being prepared by the reaction between xenon tetrafluoride with oxygen difluoride, and the product is obviously xenon hexafluoride with the evolution of oxygen. This is also a preparation of xenon hexafluoride. Okay, now let us see other example of xenon. The xenon fluoride on hydrolysis, xenon difluoride basically solid, which on hydrolysis, or rather which undergo hydrolysis to produce xenon gas hydrofluoric acid in aqueous solution, obviously there is a liberation of oxygen gas. Okay, important reaction. Another important reaction, that is fluorine in a cationic species. Fluorine in a cationic species, rare example. So that's why important. Xenon difluoride react with PF5 to produce XCF plus and PF6 minus. This is also an important reaction. On the other hand, these are two examples where fluorine is in cationic species. Xenon tetrafluoride is react with antimony pentafluoride to produce XCF3 plus and SbF6 minus. This is also an important reactions. Okay, now fluorine is in an anionic species. Xenon hexafluoride, when react with some alkali metal fluoride such as sodium fluoride, potassium fluoride, rubidium fluoride or cesium fluoride, in that case this type of salt is formed, M plus XCF7 minus, where M be the metal, which I also told you that those metals are alkali metal, sodium, potassium, rubidium or cesium. Okay, now xenon oxygen compound, as I told earlier, xenon produce some oxygen compound. So on hydrolysis xenon tetrafluoride, these are very very important reaction, because hydrolysis reaction of xenon fluoride is very common in every types of examination. Okay, so hydrolysis of xenon tetrafluoride produce xenon trioxide, hydrofluoric acid and oxygen. On the hydrolysis of xenon hexafluoride, it will produce xenon trioxide and hydrofluoric acid, obviously. Okay, these be the reactions and these are the equations. Next, we have some example of partial hydrolysis. Xenon hexafluoride on hydrolysis to produce xenon oxyfluoride and hydrofluoric acid, and xenon hexafluoride undergo hydrolysis to produce xenon XeO2F2 dioxyfluoride to produce and HF. These are also two important reactions. Basically, hydrolysis of xenon fluoride are very very important reaction for every types of examination. So be careful about that. And now we are discussing the most important area, that is structure of xenon compound. These are the very very important area, because lots of questions are come from here and you have lots of question from here to your several types of examination, board as well as NEET and JEE. So these are the structure. You have to remember the structure, and they are the number of lone pairs as well as their geometry. Very important. Xenon trioxide, a pyramidal geometry. This be the pyramidal geometry. Xenon difluoride is a linear geometry having 3 lone pair. Very, very important. Xenon tetrafluoride have a square planar geometry with 2 lone pair. Very, very important. Several types of question are there, and you have a typical type of question that find a number of lone pairs, such as in case of MCQ question, as for example, you can say that number of lone pair in xenon tetrafluoride. Option 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So be careful about that. Xenon hexafluoride having a distorted octahedral structure. These be the distorted octahedral structure. Why there is a distortion? Because of the presence of obviously lone pair. Because of the presence of lone pair, there is a distortion. There is a 6 fluorine atom, produces 6 covalent bond with xenon, but there is, since there is a lone pair of electron, definitely there is a distortion. That's why the structure is distorted octahedral. And xenon oxyfluoride is XeOF4, that is the structure is, the geometry is square pyramidal having single lone pair. This be the geometry of XeOF4, square pyramidal structure. Very important. So basically the structure related information are very, very important for any types of examinations, and related lone pairs, their geometry, their distortion are very, very important for every types of examination. So be careful about that. Okay. Now the uses of inert gases obviously follow NCERT. So regarding the uses of inert gases, follow NCERT page number 211. Very, very important, because actually uses are in the portion of application type, and application type questions are nowadays application type questions are very, very important in any types of examination. So be careful about that. Uses of inert gases are very, very important. Follow NCERT page number 211. As I told earlier that all the content are from NCERT, and NCERT be the optimum for your any types of examination, and we have a selected area and selected content of NCERT in a suggestive way. So no suggestion, as I told earlier, no suggestion is possible in this PDF or video. So that's why be careful and be serious. Okay, thank you.